Exos Heroes is a new gacha game that had just had its global release last week, and it has been a game that I have been looking forward to ever since the previous year. It was a really long wait before it got to global, but now it's finally out, and I am here for it. Initially, when I first saw this game, I was very hyped because aside from it looked really beautiful, the visuals of the combat system reminded me of Final Fantasy X, a game that I had played a bit when I was a kid, and it's the game that set my standards when it comes to how I want a turn-based RPG to look. This is where Exos Heroes hits me right on the spot. Not only does it visually fit my liking, it also surprised me with a combat system that I have not seen in any gacha game that I have ever played, which for me makes the game even more interesting. Skills in the game have no cooldown, but they do have a mana cost, and while it does seem kinda crazy to think that you can just spam skills whenever you want, there's still a twist. Mana generation has its own thing. Certain classes gain mana when they do a successful basic attack, and others only gain mana when they are attacked. So every single attack you do or receive makes an impact. There's also so much more to it. For example, there are characters that gain mana when others generate mana. Some have counter attacks which could generate them mana if it doesn't miss. And if you think that's all of it, it's not. Everyone in the game also has an element, and depending on their element, they gain different mana generation perks. It also has a break system where if you hit the right color or element of the enemy's guardian stone, you break them and they become more vulnerable to attacks. I know, it feels like it's a very complicated battle system and has a lot of RNG to it, but I really just like it for not being every single gacha game that I have ever played. It's unique, and I like that it makes you think of every turn. There's a lot of heroes in this game to mix and match with. Some heroes have synergies with each other, and this makes for some interesting team compositions. You can also decide what kind of formation you want, whether it's to have one frontliner or a group of bulky characters in the front. Heroes also have what we call a fate core, which is kind of a costume or a skin, but it upgrades the character itself, adding stats and improving or modifying skills. Now unfortunately, just like every other gacha, there's that character, the one that's absurdly overpowered and just wrecks everything in the game. And for this case, we have two. At the moment. These are the characters that have just been recently released, and they are way too strong. As much as I really like Exos Heroes, I really don't want to sugarcoat this fact because it is something that you are going to encounter in the game. Now to be fair, the game has been in global for over a week, and I really am looking forward to them balancing these characters out and hopefully not release even more of these kind of characters because it's going to break the game, and that would be a very big sad energy. In Exos Heroes, you don't just stay in a lobby and click on stages, you actually get to run around in a map. And while it's not a super amazing feature, it is something that strays off the common gacha game formula. This makes it feel like you're actually moving through areas instead of just clicking on stages. I also like the airship concept. I thought it was pretty cool. For stamina, it's not really a problem as it is mostly used for exploration. And exploration is pretty much idle grinding, where you go AFK and the game finds resources for you even when you're out of the game or offline. In a way, it's kinda like AFK Arena if ever you play that game. You move through the stages until you get stuck, then you AFK grind, get upgrades, get stronger, and progress through the stages again. The main story of the game does not consume stamina, so most of it will likely go to exploration. Outside of the main story, there's also the basic daily challenges, dungeons, and the labyrinth, which is the game's version of the tower. One of the biggest questions that is always asked in every gacha game is it pay to win? Well, it's kinda pay to win, but it's in a way that almost every gacha game is pay to win. The more money you throw, the more pulls you get, the more chances of getting the characters you want. However, the game does have pity banners which give you the guaranteed hero at a certain amount of pulls, although they do cost a lot of premium currency. But as an F2P player myself, I always find this as a challenge of managing resources, like knowing how to start your account and being wise with when to skip or when to pull. There is a dupe system in this game where you use dupes to increase the maximum level of your characters, but I would say that it's mainly whale territory. You can roll without them, and having the character itself is good enough. And in the end, it's still going to be RNG. This is a gacha game, sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. It is what it is. Exos Heroes is an interesting game, for me primarily because of the battle system. It feels unique and really makes you think of your decisions in battle. The game is not as tedious as other gachas since you can go offline and continue to gain resources, which means you don't have to turn the game on for hours and hours just to farm. Unfortunately, it suffers the same fate as a lot of gachas, where there are characters that are completely broken, and these characters can sometimes cause the game modes to take forever to finish because sometimes they're just too tanky and they take too long to die. But it is something that I hope they fix very soon. Despite that though, I still think this game is very much worth checking out. It's a great gacha game and I am definitely going to be playing this one for a bit, just to see what direction it goes. Anyway, that is all I have for now. If you did find this video helpful, please do leave me a like, and if you feel like it, go ahead and subscribe. I mean, if you feel like it, you can go and subscribe. If you don't, then don't. It's fine. And now, if you've played a game or are playing a game right now, what are your thoughts about Exos Heroes? Do you think it's a good game? What do you think about the raids? What do you think about FC Zeon and FC Anna? Comment them down below and express yourself. And also, if you have questions, put them down below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.